Hey guys, so welcome to this channel. Basically, today we're going to be going over Linux commands. It's mostly for new people. If you have never played with Linux, I recommend you learning the basic commands, or at least something, because navigating through Linux can sometimes be very complicated, and there's nothing like Windows. So this is going to be one part of series of Linux tutorials. I'm going to be doing Red Hat certifications for Red Hat Certified System Administrator. I'll give you guys tips and tricks on that. Also for the Red Hat Certified Engineer, and eventually once I get my Red Hat Architect, I'll help you guys on that if you're interested. So first, let's get started. We're going to be talking about commands. The first one is called print work directory. This basically just tells you where you're at in the directory. Right now I'm in my /root directory. The other way you're going to know, since I'm actually root right now, if you see that tilde, that just means I'm in my home folder. So that's not unexpected, right? So if I go to cd / let's say if I go to /home/cloud user, as you can see right here, it tells me exactly where I'm at, and you saw there it said tilde, right? So print work directory is very important, especially in knowing where you're at if you're running commands and stuff like that. All right, so also, just to let you guys know, if you see this like #, that means that you're root. And if you see that $, you're just a regular user. That's all that means. But there is some regular users that do have sudo privileges, and that's another video on a different topic. So the other command that we're going to be talking about will be cd. So this really just stands for change directory. If you just type in that command itself, it takes you automatically to your home folder no matter what. 9 times out of 10 it should work, unless some weird configuration issue or something that's going on. That's not, I guess, something that was like manually configured, but usually type in cd will take you to your home folder. And then from that, the next command we're going to be going over, you guys, is making directories. So you type in make dir, it'll make a directory. I can type in lol, and it'll show you that's the directory that you're making. If you see ls, this just lists the files and folders and stuff, or directories, as you can say. So if you type in ls-la, it just means long listing, and then a will give you like hidden files also, but we really don't need to see that. So the L was the long listing, so it gives you the long listing of it. Gives you a little bit more information. It gives you like the actual, like if it's a D, is it a directory, read and write. The first 3 is for the owner, the middle 3 are for the group, and the last 3 is for others. And this is just the user, which is root, and the group that it's in is root. And then it gives you the date and information, and then it gives you the actual file at the end, which is very useful, you guys. So I definitely do recommend you guys kind of play around with ls, or at least use it in a daily basis. All right, so the other command we're going to be going on to, you guys, would be actually, before we move on, let me just kind of explain what these mean. So if you guys see like a D here, means directory. This little like line here just means regular file. So if you guys see this, it just means regular file. If you see a C here, it means character special file. If you see a L, it just means it's like a link, so a symbolic link. So example, if I did ls-the root folder and did the long listing on that, you see this is a link, so it shows you the symbolic link. So a symbolic link just basically means that it's linked to here. If this actual folder gets moved anywhere else, the link will be broken and it will be in red, if you ever see that. If you ever see N, it's just a network file, so something in the network. If you ever see a S, is the socket. So if you guys ever see that information, that's what it means. It's really important to know. And then if you see like actually, we'll get into the permissions later on, actually, because it might be a little bit too much getting into that at first. So we're going to move on to the next command, you guys. The next one will be rmdir, which just means remove directory. So let me just try to get this correct. By the way, if you guys type in clear, that will clear your screen, or Control L, does exactly the same thing. So if I'm listing the files, we're going to remove this one called LOL. We're going to do rmdir LOL, and you can remove it. If you're having issues removing it, it's because there's files in there, and you might have to use like a flag to get it removed for that. If you type in ls block, it just kind of shows you what block devices you have. And here you see XVDA. The reason why is I'm on actual virtual machine, an AWS EC2 instance. So it's a virtual disk. And as you can see, this virtual disk is partitioned into two parts, 1 megabyte and a 10 gig. The next command is disk use. So if you type in the DU, it gives you the disk use on this actual file. If you type in DF, it gives you what's free on the disk, so disk free. All right. All right, and the next one we'll be talking about uname. So uname basically tells you what you're on. You're on Linux. It gives you the machine. If you type in uname-sar, this is the kernel, the date, information, and then it tells you the actual host name. The host name is actually called test, but the reason it's called test is actually earlier I changed it to see if it was working on this actual like virtual machine, because sometimes there's restrictions on these, just because this is like a little playground thing that I'm using, but it actually should be server 1 in this spot. All right, so the next command you guys are going to be using, I'm trying to make it more universal because right now I'm on a Red Hat instance. So if you guys are on Ubuntu or on Mint or maybe some other one, it might be a little bit different, but these commands that I'm using are mostly universal most of the time. It should be universal. Next command is a touch command. So this will just basically make an empty file, so I can do touch test and it will make an empty file automatically. Doesn't matter what you call it. People put .txt. Doesn't really matter, honestly, on Linux, but it's good habit to do that because you want to be organized and know what you're typing in. So this is my empty file, and the next one is called echo. All right, so this just kind of like echoes what you say on the screen. Echo LOL, I'll type LOL, whatever. So if I type in echo, and I type in testing 1 2 3, and then if I use this, if you see this symbol right here, right? So one of these symbol, or the greater than, basically just means that you're just like putting information into this file, but you're overriding it. That's what that means with that one. If you have two of those, it just means that you're appending to it. Like you're adding it to the end of the actual file or end of the line or whatever you want to say it. So now I added this 2 times to this file, and now I'm going to use the command cat. This command cat just basically shows you anything that's in the text file. So you can't use it in the directory. You can use ls for a directory. That's why ls is there. So you use cat to see the inside of a file. So when I use cat, I can use cat and then type in test. And then you see how it shows you there 2 times in a row. So the reason why it's showing you that is because I appended it. So that's the reason why. All right. If I use 1 greater than sign, it'll actually override it. And you see that there's 2 over here, and you're going to see when I do this, it will just show 1. Literally 1. So now that I cat it, you can see 1 there. So this is the great command if you guys want to use. You're trying to look inside the file, kind of see what's in there. So definitely recommend that. Definitely will help you guys a lot. And I already showed you the cat file or whatever. The next one is you can use head, or it will show you like the top like lines of the file. Tail shows you the end of the actual file. So let's see if I can find an example for you. So we'll use the original KS or whatever. If I use head on original, it shows you the top lines of this, right? If I use tail, it shows you the end of the file. So the end, you see right there. But these 2 commands are good. Basically, you don't want to print everything out. You just want to kind of like a little sneak peek. The next command is called copy command. So this is very easy. You just find the source. So right now I'm here. I'm going to make a file called, I'm going to make a directory actually, since you guys already learned that. I'm going to call it dir. And then I'm going to copy this test inside of the directory dir. So I'm going to use copy. And the first argument I'm going to put in here will be the actual source, and then I'm gonna put the actual like destination. So now that if I go inside, if I use the ls on dir, you'll see that test is in there. So I basically grabbed this file, copied it inside of dir. So copy command is very useful. One great thing is, let's say I named this thing called test and I really don't like the name of it. I can use the move command, because move actually moves files around. Same thing. So I can move this test file to another directory. So I can do move test to the root folder, and as you can see, it disappeared. But here's one thing I want to let you guys know. The reason why I type in test is because I'm inside that directory already. So if I do pwd, you can see that I'm in this directory. So in this directory, that file existed. So that's the only reason I can do it, because usually if you want to move something that you're not in that directory, you want to put the full path. Full path just basically means the actual like path of where it's located. So root slash, test. So that's how you would do it that way. You can also use move to change the name of something. So let's say that dir folder, I do not like it. I'm going to change it to dir1. As you can see, that move can also change the name of the actual file also. All right. And then here's the link one. I think you guys showed you guys about a link on ls before, but this actually makes links out of it. You have to type in the S flag. This will make it symbolic, and if you don't use this with the link, it'll actually like make it a hard link, which hard links are better because basically it's actually the same exact file. So whatever you do to the to one of the files, the other file will actually have the same results and changes. Symbolics are good, but if the actual like one that you copied moves to a different like directory or a different area, it'll actually break the link. So that's the thing. So this one, same thing. You have the source and you have the link. And if you're unsure, you can always use the man pages. This is a really good command. So let's say man for the link, kind of tells you what you want to use. So link gives you the target and the directory. So gives you more information on here. And the -s I was telling you about is right here. So you can either type in this or the long one, -- symbolic, but most people use the -s. Make symbolic links instead of hard links. So that's another one if you want to make a link that way too. All right. So let's say I'm making a link to this directory. Right. So this is the target, and then the name will be link. Okay, so I guess you can't do hard link on directory, so we're going to do -s and make a symbolic link. As you can see, this is a symbolic link for directory. And like I said, if I move that, right, if I move that link, actually it's called link, I know it's a little confusing, but if I move that link into the actual directory folder, directory 1, and if I do ls again, actually I moved it. So let me go into that folder so I can show you guys. So you see how it's red? It's because I broke that link. So that link is broken. So that's why, that's the thing about symbolic links. If you move the actual link, it will break. Or vice versa, the actual like one that it's pointing to moves also, can break also. Alright, so I guess another one good command is type in history. This will actually give you the history of the commands that you typed in. You can also do man history, and it'll give you more information. You can just scroll down to the actual all the flags, list the names, display. It gives you a lot more information on here. I mean, obviously it's a little bit too much in terms of like you guys are starting out, but most of the basic commands, if you look through the actual options, some of them might not be as complicated. So let's see. Oh yeah, one thing, when you're in the man pages, you can just do / and then type in like the word you're looking for, and then type in N for forward, and then you can type in B for back, which is very helpful. But remember, is the forward slash you type in, and then Q would be for quitting. But history is always a good one. So you can always type this one. I remember, I think if you type in this exclamation mark, and type in like the number, like 71, they'll do an LS. So this actually does with history. So if I type in the exclamation mark and type in 57, it'll clear the screen for me. So this helps if it's like a long command. You guys can always do that also. All right, and the last command for today we're gonna go over is the cal command. So this actually gives you a pretty cool calendar. It's really cool. And then if you use the man pages, type in man cal, displays a calendar, gives you a lot more information. Here's the options. So -1 displays a single month output, -3 displays 3 months, or whatever. But that's actually pretty cool, you know. I'm gonna be doing another course actually, you guys, too. Oops. So let's do this. Let's look at that command again, you guys. So -3. I guess I have to put, like, it says options on here. Well, -3. So I did -2. So that was my fault. There it is. So it gives you 3 months ahead. I'm gonna be doing a course on man pages for you guys, so you guys can kind of like see how to read the man pages. I know it can be a little confusing at first, but trust me, these commands can hopefully help you kind of get around at first. But like I said, stay tuned. I'm gonna be making more videos about Linux and teaching you guys how to use it. I'll be making free courses coming up for Red Hat Certified System Administrator, like I said, and I'm going to be making, if I didn't say it, then I'm saying it now, but I'll be making all these courses, so you guys stay tuned.